Hello, everybody. Jim Malone coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is a Monday, and the market it looked like it was going to make some headway, but well, not so much. It kind of pulled back. It kind of pulled back here. So let's get into the slides. Basically, we have a huge profit in oil. It looks as if Saudi Aramco now is the biggest company in the world. It surpassed Apple, and they had a 80% jump in their net profit. So that topped analyst expectations. And what I've done with that, of course, is I've moved into some oil stocks. But first, let's take a look at another interesting chart that we have, and that is the chart for natural gas. I have the live chart for natural gas and how natural gas is trading. You'll notice that really since the first of the year, since January, it's been nothing but an upward movement for natural gas. So one of the things that I did buy today long was FLNG. It's a company that transports natural gas to Europe. So watch out for that. That may be pretty interesting. We'll see how that trades, but pretty interesting. Just wanted to put out a buy alert. Now I haven't put out one of these in a long time, but this is a company that I've been accumulating. I'll probably be buying more if it reacts well tomorrow, and that of course is Chevron. Chevron Texaco. I don't know if you remember this one, but this is a dividend aristocrat, and it has been paying a dividend pretty much as long as I've been alive. There is an entry point. It's quickly approaching the 174.86 buy point. So let me pull up the chart for CVX just to kind of give you a look-see at this potential, the potential entry point in. It's up after hours, so that indeed is an interesting is interesting here. There is a buy point on it. Again, we talked a little bit about it just a second ago, and that's 174.28. That's right here. It's right above that buy point, and I do think that it's shaping up very, very well. If you'll notice, the relative strength line is moving to the upside. That's great, and the relative strength is 79. Now where is 98. Now where the rest of the market is doing poorly, this one, boy, I tell you what, it's looking pretty good. The checklist is 89% on this one. This be today I'll be making my second buy, and as you can see from the pattern recognition here, we're just 1% below the flat base entry at 74.28. So something you might want to take a look at, put in your back pocket, because it definitely looks like, most of the market I think is going to move lower, but it looks as if Chevron is looking pretty darn good. So that one might be one that you might want to look at. Now, on the flip side of this, I have a trade idea. Now, I haven't gone into this one yet, and that is to short Tesla. And I want to show you this chart. Basically, part of the reason Tesla is moving lower, so this bear call spread can be got into very, very inexpensively. It's basically $580, and I do think that this one is a little bit better, but I have not gotten into this one yet. But I do think that Tesla is moving lower, so this is an idea that you can pick up $580, and then as if it moves lower, then you could close it out for a profit. Their potential maximum risk on this one is $420. But the maximum return, $580, of course, you get that up front because this is a credit spread as opposed to a call spread. So basically the way this one is done is by buying that upper June 725 call and then selling simultaneously the 720 call, basically a spread of 5 there, 2 contracts on each. It's an out-of-pocket expense of 5. It's an in-pocket expense. I mean, it comes into your pocket, $580. So that's the maximum that you can make on it, but it has a minimum risk. It has a maximum risk of 420. So very interesting. You might want to take a look at that one. I haven't yet entered that trade yet, but we are looking at possibly doing it. So I want to show you the stocks that I am in today, and I did move in today. Of course, I told you that I added an extra position to Chevron. That's up nicely. Then the FLNG, that is the stock that I was talking about that's in the transport of natural gas, liquefied natural gas. And this one's set up very nicely as well. I came into this one today, and we're seeing it reverse basically off the 50-day line. And if you'll notice, and this is really hard to see on the chart, but it is now the price has moved above the NASDAQ, which is showing a lot of strength. There's a lot of buying activity on this one. Again, it's in the natural resources area. Basically, so it's basically the natural resource area. Not as quite a good a checklist as Chevron, but still pretty darn good. 78 is the checklist on this one. On the technicals, we're above all the three major index lines: 10-day, 21-day, 50-day, and 200-day. So looking pretty good there on this one. This is Flex LNG, and I definitely think you can enter this one. I did today. I did enter this stock today. I also bought a position, and I had this one before, and I was stopped out. But I'm going to be a little bit more loose on those on the stop losses this time, putting it 10% below as opposed to 7% below. I'm usually breaking my rule here a little bit, but because of the volatility. Mosaic, MOS, this is one you want to probably take a look at as well. MOS is the symbol. Now, again, if you'll notice, all of these stocks basically are in the resource area. So, not really doing anything in the tech or anything like that. No tech stocks. But this one reversed nicely. It's up after hours, and I bought it, and then it reversed higher after hours. So I think we're going to see this one hopefully move back up to the 60, so possibly the $75 or $80 range. If it does, I'll be a seller there, but this looks like a nice reversal. It did pull very much lower than I would have liked. My stop loss on this one is 56.70. That's my stop loss on this one. So hopefully I'm not I'm going to get stopped out this one, but it looks like this one's reversed and it is moving higher. Now, of course, as you know, there is a tremendous demand for fertilizer right now. Basically, Sri Lanka is out of fertilizer. There's food riots, unfortunately, there. But one of the things about this stock is I do think the demand for fertilizer is just going to go crazy because a lot of the components come from Belarus and Ukraine and these kind of countries that are basically in the war zone. So not great as far as that is concerned, but definitely going to be a shortage. There's some other ones also. I don't think these are as well set up. Another one that you might want to take a look at is Nutrien, NTR, and but let's look at NTR. This is the biggest. This is a company in Canada. It is also starting to make a nice move. It definitely looks like it has bottomed here and it's making a move up. This is a reversal as well. So this one you might want to put in. You might want to put into NTR Nutrien. And I do think that we're going to see, this one has even a better checklist, 100% checklist on this one. This is not a normal buy point for this one, but it does look like it's come down, it's tested, and it's moving higher. So these commodity stocks are more difficult to play than the others, but definitely something you can do, that is working right now. I wanted to show you the 5 stocks essentially that I'm shorting right now. I did just put in a short on Disney. I had a short on it, and then I came back and I re-shorted it. But this one, I think, is going to go down even further. DIS, of course, is the symbol for that. That one is looking like it's going to go even lower. So take a quick look at the trend here. As you can see, the trend is your friend, and right now, the trend on Disney is decidedly lower. It's off after hours. It was off today, and it's off after hours. I think you're going to see a lot of weakness here. So I did do a spread on this one. It's a put spread. It's a bear put spread on Disney, and we're already up today approximately $35 on that one. So looking pretty decent on that one as well. Also on the shorts, again, I've had a short on Boeing for quite a while. That's continuing to move lower, and a lot of trouble there at Boeing. But this spread is taking advantage of that a little bit. Here's the live chart for Boeing. As you can see, it's just moving down, down, down. It's up a little bit after hours. I'm not too worried about this because the general trend overall for Boeing has been lower. So currently, we're up on Boeing about, let's see if we can get the right one there. We're currently up on the Boeing spread. We're currently up on the Boeing spread about $517. We shorted this one with the bear put spread on the 27th of April. So this one's moving right along. Also, just wanted to show you the other spreads that we do have. We have a spread on Salesforce CRM, and that one continues to move lower. It was off today, and then I think it's up a little bit after hours, but definitely moving lower. I think looking at the weekly chart here for CRM, it did just come through. Earnings are relatively in 15 days, so depending on how it goes. Part of the reason I closed the short on Disney was I didn't want to be there for earnings. I probably will close on Salesforce before earnings as well. But the trend on Salesforce has been down, as you can see. Even though their sales are up, their profits are down. So unfortunately not that good, but because we have a short on it, we're making money up. They're up about $88 currently on that one. Now, I do have a short on Netflix. That one has been kind of tricky. There's been some analysts that have said that Netflix is bottom. I don't believe them. I think that we're going to go even lower with Netflix, and indeed we went lower today. We were down about not quite 1%, and we're down after hours as well. I do think we're going to continue to see some damage with Netflix, and of course, the lower it goes, what it did is it came up to the 10-day line. I think that's where it's going to get support and move lower. At least that's kind of what I'm seeing in terms of that. So I definitely have a bear put spread on Netflix. And the last one, of course, that I have is a bear put spread on the QQQ. So let's look at the QQQ and see kind of what the deal is there. That's been moving lower. I'm still up a little bit on this one. Yeah, this one bounced a little bit. I may close this one early. I haven't really decided if we get some support, but it looks like we came up to the 10-day line, and then we're starting to move lower. So I do expect, at least over the next week, this one to move lower. But if it doesn't, I will definitely close it early. That's for sure. So these are my current short holdings: Walt Disney, Boeing, Salesforce, Netflix, and the QQQ. So kind of give you a little bit look-see there on that. All right, let's get to the questions. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Got some people up here already. Dan is interested in MOS. What is the buy point? Okay, good question. This is Mosaic. That's the name of the stock here. My buy point on this one, and let's pull up the chart here. Let's see if we got the. I don't know if I did all my notations today. I was a little bit lazy today. I didn't do all my notations with stop losses and everything. There we go. Here's where I entered it. Basically, my entry on this one, and it was at 64.61. So I'm a little bit high. I'm a little bit down on this one, but I definitely think I'm a little bit early. I think the best entry point is probably at the 21-day line, and let's kind of take a look and see where that one is. At the 21-day line, I think that's definitely a good entry for it. Yeah, 63.81. So we're right there. We're 63.18. So I definitely think you probably could start to put in a position here on Mosaic. I definitely think we're going to move higher, It's moved down. I think it's gotten support. Didn't get support at the index lines, though, interestingly enough. But if you can see this, let me just take off the some of the comments here, so you can definitely see this. But as you can see, this is the relative strength line. This is the blue line here, and it is pointed up. The relative strength rating 98, which is really great. It means it's in the top 2% of all stocks. That's not saying much in this market, though, because this market has been off so much. But we're definitely in the right place. Fertilizers have been doing very, very well. It's 3 out of 197. So the chemical agricultural area, this is definitely where you want to kind of start building a position, because it does look like we're going to have some shortages this summer, massive fertilizer shortages. So it's almost guaranteed that the price of fertilizer will go up, and of course, Mosaic will be one of the beneficiaries. The real problem, of course, is the lack of phosphorus out there, and because a lot of that is produced, a lot of those phosphate mines are in Eastern Europe. They're in Belarus. They're in Ukraine. They're basically in those areas. So that's where a lot of those phosphates mines are. And of course, with the war going on, they're not going to be, they're not going to be mining. So the overall price of phosphate-based fertilizers is going to go way up. So I think that will benefit Mosaic and possibly Nutrien. Some of the other ones too, but those two especially, and CF Industries. That's another one you want to look at. What can we expect from the retail sales numbers tomorrow? I think the retail sales number, and I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly here, but I think the retail sales numbers are going to be very bad tomorrow. Part of the reason I believe this is because of this inflation. I think, inflation is rampant right now. I mean, I went out for lunch today and bought a burrito, and it was $10. And, basically a month ago, the same burrito was like $6. So that's a lot of inflation. And I think that's true just about through everything. Here in Dallas, which has some of the cheapest gas prices in the United States, we are seeing gasoline above $4 a gallon. We're seeing it maybe about $4.15 to $4.20 a gallon. And at that rate, it's just going to be a tough row, because, at that rate, people just aren't going to spend on anything related to entertainment or, they're just going to buy food and gas. And rent. That's going to be pretty much it. So not a good situation. HD earnings tomorrow. Can we buy HC if it goes? Well, yeah, don't buy before. Be very careful. I think that HD, it's not like in the pandemic when everybody, had that money and time because of the stimulus. They could go and they could buy, for home improvement. We're not at that level anymore, unfortunately, because this is a great stock. HD is one of the really premier stocks, but frankly, I see this going lower. As you can see, it's been trading below, I think that's key, below the 21-day moving average. And the relative strength on this is 48, which for this kind of stock is not terrifically good. Now, it is kind of tracking the S&P 500. The NASDAQ here, that's this black line. But I don't like the look of this stock at all. Unfortunately, I want to see a bounce. Now, we may get a tremendous bounce tomorrow on this. I doubt it. So I would be very careful, James, in buying the stock long tomorrow. I think where you want to look is, again, it's boring as heck, but the place in the market that's working, and let's go to the chart. The place in the market that's working is in the oil sector. And I just want to show you the first, let's see, of the 198 groups. Let's see if I can show you this. Of the 198 groups, I think the first 4 are all oil and gas related. So here's the performance of the groups the last week, and here's what we got. Basically, it's all energy. It's coal. It's royalty trust. Now the chemicals agriculture is in there. That's where Mosaic is. So it's number 3. Oil and gas, E&P. That's the drillers, international E&P, and drilling, and then integrated. That's where Chevron is. Just look at this. This is all oil and gas with the exception of agricultural chemicals. So basically, what I'm trying to say here, and shipping, yeah, transportation shipping is doing fairly well. So what I'm trying to, and then utilities. So basically, what we're looking at, I just would be very, 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 very careful buying anything outside of these three inners. So the buy areas are basically oil, utilities, and fertilizer. So basically, that's kind of where you got to be buying. Those are the areas of the market that are doing the best: oil, utilities, and fertilizer right now. It's not a market to buy tech stocks. That's why I'm short some of those tech stocks and some of the big some of the big stocks like Disney, because I just don't see a lot of room for people in their budgets. They're going to be buying food, they're going to be buying fuel, and they're going to be buying heating, heating and cooling like LNG. So just not a whole lot of discretionary income there with all this inflation. It's really kind of interesting. Jim, Michael Berry. Oh, interesting. He just has a short again. Oh yeah, I agree with him. Jay, I think I think you go against Michael Berry at your peril, because he is truly one of the best analysts out there. I mean, I follow him I follow him. I saw the same thing that you did. I actually agree with this. Let's take a look at Apple. I mean, let's take a look at Apple. I think it's a short too. As I said, I have that short on. Now I haven't done it yet on Tesla. That's another one. I'm very. Any of the techs, even the best techs, aren't doing that well. Now, in that article, Michael Burry did indicate that he is going to be acquiring more Google. I kind of agree with him on that because they have the advertising revenue, and that is going to go up. So I definitely see that as well. But but Apple is probably going to go lower. I agree with that. So I think he's right there. Hi, if you had to bet, do you think Nvidia will go higher or lower? Lower, unfortunately. I think it's going to go lower, unfortunately. I wish it was going to go higher, but that's not what I'm showing on the chart. The chart is telling me that at least in the short term, Nvidia, look at that. It's just a downward trend. So if I were a betting man, and I am, I would say lower. So Nvidia definitely, I expect lower. So I don't see it bouncing here. So I expect lower for Nvidia. I really do. I think Nvidia is likely to be moving lower. All right. When is the stock split? The stock split for Tesla. All right. Well, I don't think there's a Tesla stock split coming up. Is there? Maybe. No, I don't think so. There's a Google stock split. Let's look at that. Um, so there's a 20-for-1 Google stock split coming up. And that definitely is coming up. We do have that coming up. So let's see if it'll let me. All right. Well, what do you know? Not seeming to let me. There we go. So the Google stock split is going to be happening here. It's going to be happening on the July. So it's going to be on July 15th. So basically, the vote is going to be on June the 1st. We haven't come to the vote yet, but if it's approved on June 1st, then it'll be a 20-for-1 on July 15th. So that's kind of what's going on right now with the stock split on Google. All right, let's take a look at. All right, okay, so we got a few more questions here to go. Let's see, Tesla. All right, I think Tesla is going to be moving lower, and I have put out essentially a bear put spread on it. Let's go back to that one. Basically, this is what I'm intending to do. I haven't done this yet, but the idea here is that Tesla is going to move lower, and when it moves lower, I think we're going to have. Let's go show the live screen for Tesla. There we go. So I do believe that Tesla is moving lower based on this trend. It's at 172 right now, and if you'll notice, the way this short works is you buy two June 24th 725 calls, and then you simultaneously sell to 720 calls for June 24th, and the net credit that you get is $580. And basically what happens is, as long as by the end of the end of the trade, which is June 15th, as long as it maintains a price below 720, you keep all the money. And I believe that we're very, very likely to get below 720. You're very likely to get all the money. So currently it's below it's below, excuse me, not 720, excuse me. It maintains below 720, and currently we're at, I have NVIDIA up. That was the mistake. Let's look at Tesla. All right, let's pull it up. So as long as it maintains a below 720, this is the current chart, at 724. If it drops just $4 more, as you can see, you'll make all the money in this trade. So I haven't put this trade in. I'm going to see how it opens tomorrow, but I'm definitely going to probably put this one on. This is a Tesla 725, 720 bear call spread, and this one will hopefully produce some nice money on this. All right, let's go to this. Sir, can you please tell me some stocks to buy with stop losses and a price target? I have been following you for the past 3 years. Oh, great. Well, thank you very much. Well, thank you for that, saying my predictions were correct. Boy, well, I really appreciate that. That's a very nice thing to say. Here's what I want to show you. I want to show you a stock that I do think that you could buy right now, and that's CVX. Yeah, that's this stock right here. Oh, let me pull it up. It's CVX. This is Chevron. Right now, the oil stocks are doing quite well, and I definitely think you could buy this one here. Now, unfortunately, it's starting to move after hours, and it's up a little bit, but I definitely think you could buy it here. And what I would do is buy it here at about 174, putting my stop loss at 150. Okay, that would be where my stop loss would go, 150. And then hopefully letting this thing roll. I think this can potentially, based on what I'm seeing as it's coming out of this base pattern, I would ride this up to about 190. I think this is going to go about 15 points higher. But who knows? I mean, you can't totally tell. But I want to kind of show you this chart going out with the monthly chart. Here's something that I want to show you with Chevron. As you can see, it's at its all-time high. If you go back here to 2001 and you go forward to today, you'll notice that it's at an all-time high. Believe it or not. And you would think, Jim, you should never, buy low, sell high. But in this case, you want to buy high and sell higher. Okay? So I believe it can easily move. I can easily move from here up to about 200. And as you can see, it's starting to consolidate. So as it breaks beyond this buy point here, and that buy point we're talking about is 172.76. Let me actually show you that on the pattern recognition. But currently the pivot is 174.78. Currently it's 174. So it is literally right below the buy point. So I do think that Chevron is looking very, very good. I really appreciate that. By the way, if you're not already on the action trade alerts, think about that. It's easy to do. All you have to do, and it's free, by the way, is to go to www.dallastradingfloor.com, first and last name and an email address, and we'll get you set up on the action trade alerts. Thank you so much for that comment. I really appreciate it. All right, let's take a look at this one. SD. Let's look at HDSN, SML. Let's look at I have to remember these charts. This one, HDSN. All right. Hudson Technologies. I'm not familiar with this. Let me just take a gander over here. This is a replacement. Okay, so it's contractors and refrigeration. I do like the fact that it's in repair, pollution control. This is not one of my favorite areas, but the chart looks decent. Right now, unfortunately, it's not in a buy point. The last buy point on it was way back here in the consolidation, basically at $4.89. Currently, it's at $9. I would skip this one. I would watch list this one, even though it does have a good chart. In this market, you only want to buy the strongest that you can get. And I definitely think you can make this on a day trade, but for a long-term trade, I'd be a little bit concerned about this one, just because it's under $10 and we're in a weak market. But the stock looks good. It's just not the kind of chart that I would like to buy in this thing. So Bermuda-based. Tanker trade. Okay, crude and refined oil. Okay, this has been a very good area. The shippers. The shippers have been very good. Yeah, I mean, this one's definitely viable. This is definitely SFL. I'm not familiar with this one, but I suspect it has a big dividend. Let's take a look. Yeah, look at that. Wow. It's got an 8 PE ratio. Yeah, this is a little bit extended, but this is viable. SFL is viable. So I would look at SFL, not HDSN. And let's look at SOI to see. SOI. Let's take a look here. Oilfield Infrastructure, Houston, Texas. Yeah, this is a good area to be buying in too. There's going to be a lot more demand for this kind of a company. It's not at an ideal buy point. It's not really an ideal buy point, but that's just because the pattern recognition can't pick it up. This looks very good. So out of these three, SFL and SOI, I think, are pretty decent. So those are very interesting. I think I'd probably go with the shipper, just because there's just so much demand for shippers right now. So I would probably be looking at SFL on that one. Let's look at the SPDR, SPY. Of course, this is the ETF that tracks the. This is the ETF that tracks the S&P 500, and I do expect the S&P 500 to do better than the Nasdaq, but it's not overall. We're in a downward trending market. So where do I see this? Well, I see weakness, to be honest with you. I think if you draw a line, if you draw a line along the 10-day moving average. Now, of course, this is not everything, but this is the trend, and I definitely think we're going to reverse lower here. So I see the spider below 400 by the end of the week. So just my take on it, but that's what I see. Um, I see SPY below 395 by the end of the week. Unfortunately, that's what I do. I see it. I see it lower. Why? Because I think what's happening is that the spider is following the 10-day moving average, and the 10-day moving average is trending lower. And if we trend down with that, and we look at the low of where the spider moved up, we're at about 395. So I don't think the spider is looking like I would like to see it, but that's kind of neat. But I do kind of see the spider moving lower. SoFi, that's probably going to be our last one for today. I hope you're not in this one. This has been brutalized, and it's SoFi Technologies. It's trending, but it's trending in the wrong direction. And the direction, of course, that SoFi is trending, of course, is downward. I have a reversal line. It has moved a little bit above the reversal line, but it is still basically hugging the 21-day moving average with a relative strength of 11. So I see this going lower. I'm sorry to say this probably is going to go lower. It might reverse here because it is so cheap. It's really hard to say, but I wouldn't buy this one. I wouldn't buy this one right now. So I just think SoFi may go lower, and that's pretty that's a pretty tough deal. This is the reason why I keep bringing this up, kind of like a broken record, but you should never let a stock move against you more than about 7% from your buy price, because this might return to profitability. SoFi might return to profitability, but it might not, because remember, it took 17 years for Microsoft to return to where it had been in 1999. So I actually did not. I traded Microsoft in 2000, and I didn't trade it again until 2017. Can you believe that? Long time. So I would be very, very careful about buying SoFi. I would not buy it. And if I had it and I was down more than 7%, I'd sell it. I know that's painful because you don't want to take the loss, but I think that's kind of be that's kind of be an issue. Here's somebody that says they just bought Tesla at 724. I probably would not be with you on that one, just because I think that it may bounce up, but it's more likely to go down. So here's what I would do. I would make sure that I place a stop loss on this one, and I would place that stop loss on Tesla basically at the consolidation. And my guess is that on the consolidation, on the pivot, you should put your stop loss basically at about 678. So here's what I would do if I had bought Tesla, which I probably wouldn't buy in this market at this level. Tesla stop loss would be about 678. I wouldn't let it go any lower than that. I wouldn't let it go any lower than that. That's the bottom of the consolidation here. Oops, let's put that in there. Oops, there we go. Yeah, that's the bottom of the consolidation, and this is the pivot right here at 1202. So, maybe we'll get a bounce. Hopefully, we'll get a bounce, and it may go higher, but it doesn't. But if it can't hold, if it can't hold here, it's going lower. So we probably will get some support at the pivot, 678. I wouldn't probably let it go more than that because it could go lower. I mean, it could easily go to 600. I don't think that there's any question that it could. So be very careful if you bought Tesla at 724. Be very, very careful. I would put stop loss in immediately. All right. Well, thank you very much for everybody for taking a look at my Monday show. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and I hope everyone's doing well. This is a very tough market to trade right now. Recommend relatively light exposure right now. You don't want to be too heavy. And if you're going to go long on anything, you want to go long on stocks that are basically, you want to go long on stocks that are basically only in several areas. The only areas really that I am long right now is in oil, agricultural chemicals, and some shipping stocks especially for oil. So those are that's the only place that I see any kind of leadership. Other than that, I see the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 moving lower. So very, very tough situation. If you are in stocks, remember, never let a stock move more than 7% down from your buy price, because if you don't, you could end up having a stock, you can end up losing a lot of capital. So put your stop losses in, make sure that you protect your positions, because we could be going higher in the market, but more than likely we're going to take another leg lower in the market. So protect yourself with those 7% stop losses. I think you'll be happy that you did. All right, I'm going to be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. But until then, please like our show. That's the little like, but we want to get the big like. Please like us, because that gets us out to a lot of people, and I really appreciate it. Also, if you're not already a member of the Action Trade Alerts, we have that available, and that's a free thing. So you just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. All right. Well, I've used up my time, so I will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Everybody, happy trading, and please put your stop losses in 7% down from where you bought them, because we are currently in a market that is moving lower. So we want to protect the capital that we have. I'll see you tomorrow. Happy trading.